What is the real difference between people who build wealth and those who struggle? Is it all just about having the right mindset? I mean, the self-help world has built a billion-dollar empire on that one idea. But today, we're going to put that idea under the microscope of neuroscience. And trust me, the answer might completely change how you think about success itself. So let's ask it again. What really separates the wealthy? Is it just about working harder? Getting lucky? Having that one-in-a-million idea? Or is there something deeper going on? Something happening inside our own minds and even our actual physical brains that sets the stage for our entire financial future? That's the big question we're diving into.
Okay, so first let's start with what we all know, right? The idea of the millionaire mindset. This is the foundation for pretty much all the financial advice you've ever heard. It's the belief that being wealthy isn't just about what's in your bank account, but what's going on in your head. And a core part of this idea is that wealthy people are just, well, they're programmed differently. The thinking goes that they focus their energy on big ideas and new opportunities, while a lot of other folks can get stuck just talking about other people or day-to-day events. It's a fundamental shift in where you point your mental energy and whether you're aiming it toward growth.
And this mindset isn't just some fluffy concept. It translates into very specific, very powerful habits. When you look at studies of self-made millionaires, the same things pop up again and again. They're frugal. They prioritize investing for the long haul over short-term splurges. And this one is critical. They consistently live below their means. That creates the gap you need to actually build wealth. And this quote really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. The idea is that your financial reality is basically just a printout of your internal programming. The message is simple, right? If you want to change your bank account, you've got to start by changing your mind. Ultimately, this all boils down to a concept you've probably heard a million times: abundance versus scarcity. The abundance mindset sees opportunity everywhere, while the scarcity mindset is laser-focused on limitations and what you don't have. And for a lot of people, that's where the story ends. Just get the right mindset and you're good to go. But, and this is a big but, what if it's not that simple? What if that's only half the story? What if your ability to even develop an abundance mindset in the first place is profoundly shaped by your environment, by forces outside your control? This is where our story takes a fascinating turn from popular advice to hard science. So now we're leaving the world of self-help and we're stepping into the lab. We're going from mindset to neuroscience, and we're about to see how financial stress doesn't just change your thoughts, it can actually physically change your brain. See, from a scientific point of view, that scarcity mindset we talked about isn't some kind of character flaw. It's a cognitive state. When you are under constant financial pressure, your brain goes into survival mode. It's so focused on immediate problems, like how do I pay this bill today, that planning for the long term becomes incredibly difficult. And the cognitive hit is staggering. Get this. This number represents the drop in IQ scores that researchers found in a study of Indian farmers. When they were tested before their harvest, a time of insane financial stress, their scores were, on average, a third lower than after the harvest, when they'd been paid. Now, to be perfectly clear, the farmers didn't actually become less intelligent. Think of it like a computer running way too many programs at once. It just slows down. Their brains were so consumed with worry that they had less mental bandwidth left over for anything else. Financial stress literally eats up your brain power.
But it gets deeper. The impact isn't always temporary, especially for kids. A growing mountain of research shows that the chronic, grinding stress that comes with poverty can have real physical effects on the actual structure of a child's developing brain.
This is profound. Studies have found that for kids growing up in deep poverty, the gray matter volume, that's the processing part of the brain, in areas crucial for planning, decision-making, and self-control, can be significantly smaller. These are the very skills you need for success. It can create a biological disadvantage right from the start.
So this leaves us with this giant question, doesn't it? Is our financial destiny all about mindset and habits, which feels like nurture? Or is it shaped by our biology and our brain development, which sounds a lot more like nature? How in the world do we untangle these two powerful forces? Well, to start figuring this out, let's look at a super famous test, the marshmallow experiment.
It's simple, right? A kid can have one marshmallow right now, or if they can just wait 15 minutes, they get two. It's the classic test of delaying gratification.
Okay, but here comes the brilliant twist.
That's a
Researchers did the
beautiful color.
experiment
You're
again,
doing
but
so
first
well.
they set the stage. One group of kids was put in an unreliable environment where the adults made promises and then broke them. The other group was in a reliable environment where the adults always did what they said they would.
And the result was incredible. The kids who had learned they could trust the environment waited 4 times longer for that second marshmallow. This shows that self-control isn't just something you're born with. It's powerfully shaped by your experiences. Your environment literally teaches your brain whether it pays to be patient.
But let's take it even one step further, to the ultimate test of nature versus nurture. A massive study in Sweden did something amazing. They looked at thousands of adopted children and compared their financial success in adulthood to both their biological parents, representing nature, and their adoptive parents, representing nurture.
And the results? They were crystal clear. The wealth of a child's adoptive parent was a much, much stronger predictor of their future wealth than the wealth of their biological parent. This is just powerful, powerful evidence that the environment you grow up in, the nurture, plays a massive role in your financial destiny.
So where does all this leave us? It's not a simple battle of mindset versus brain chemistry or nature versus nurture. The real story, the much more interesting story, is about how all of these things dance together. Let's put all the pieces together. So here's the big idea, the grand synthesis. Our environment, how stressful it is, how reliable it is, physically shapes our brain. That brain development then directly impacts our mental bandwidth and our ability to delay gratification. And that, in turn, makes it either easier or much harder to adopt those millionaire mindsets we talked about at the very beginning. You see? It's a feedback loop.
But here's the good news. This is not a story about fate. It's a story about awareness. Because once you know how this works, you can start to be intentional. You can actively work to cultivate the traits of an entrepreneurial mindset. You can consciously set clear goals, you can practice taking small, calculated risks, and you can train yourself to reframe challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to grow.
And that brings us to one final thought. We spend so much time and energy focused on the number in our bank account. But what if our most powerful asset, the thing that truly generates wealth, is the 3-pound universe sitting between our ears? Understanding it, protecting it, and actively shaping it, that might just be the most valuable investment you could ever possibly make.